Hey guys, how's it going? Jay Sensational here, and today I have a deck guide for one of my favorite decks that I've been playing pretty much non-stop in the past week since, even before the patch came out. It's just been a really solid deck overall now that Targon's seeing a lot less play, and that is none other than Zilean Nasus Control. If you get the reference that I have here with Zilean Nasus, let me know down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's dive right into what this deck's all about. Alrighty, so decklist wise, it's probably been a while since you've seen Nasus decks running around. A lot of you are most commonly pretty familiar with Thresh Nasus, that really aggressive Shadow Owls early game start with the Curse Keepers and the Ravenous Butchers to really pressure your opponent down. With the new patch, we saw Treasure Seeker being kind of experimented into that Dune Keeper slot, and kind of the deck sort of been the same regardless. But now this deck is completely different. We've ditched the Thresh, we've ditched the aggressive starts with like the Curse Keepers and the Butchers, and we've favored for a more control package style deck. We're playing Zilean instead of Thresh, which gives us access to a lot of cycle through the time bombs, as well as just 1 damage board pings that are really helpful combined with our other control cards like Vile Feast, Black Spears, Box, and Whales to really just farm down your opponent's board. Now, when we cast like a Whale, for example, and it kills 3 of your opponent's units, that also gives Nasus 3 slays. And right now, because Targon's seeing a lot less play, that also means Hush is seeing a lot less play, meaning that Nasus Atrocity is a bigger threat than ever. And when you get to the late game, of course, when you're staring down a giant Nasus, it becomes very difficult for your opponent to deal with. We have that removal card to play at a slower speed, and this makes us better into more things in the meta. Now, for the playstyle and the overall game plan of this deck, it's a lot more focused around Nasus Atrocity. You want to stall the early game, control the mid game, and then finally just yeet your Nasus at your opponent's Nexus. In this kind of deck, when you are killing your opponent's units a lot easier with cards like Time Bombs, Whales, Vengeance, and Ruinations, you'll find that your Nasus scales a lot bigger, a lot quicker. And so it's not common that you have a 15-15 Nasus that you're just atrociting at your opponent's face. Now, that's not to say we don't have any of that aggressive start anymore. We have Treasure Seeker, Merciless Hunters, even Fading Icons or the Waking Sands to get a pretty aggressive start. And if we get that chip damage into a deck that just can't heal, Nasus Atrocity becomes a lot bigger of a threat. So against decks like Draven, Azir Aurelia, or anything else without heal for that matter, getting that early curve, early aggressive start to deal like 5 chip damage makes our late game a lot easier. What's really cool about this deck is that everything sort of synergizes together into this Nasus Atrocity game plan. Our stall cards allow us to get favorable trades, to get good slays. If you guys know how strong Merciless Hunter Treasure Seeker of a combo is, which just helps us control that early game that we really need to transition into our control late game style. Cards like Spirit Leech and Gloomspell not only draw us into more resources, more control tools, it also helps scale Nasus just 1 bit extra. Now I think right now in the meta, just having that Time Bomb, Withering Wail, just ping after ping, especially on your opponent's turn when a card like Time Bomb actually goes through Spell Shield, you can set up what kills on cards like Sivir on Rune Runner without your opponent sometimes noticing or being able to play around it. This is a very niche example, but say you Merciless Hunter your opponent's Sivir, and then you send a Sandstone Charger at it, which is the 5/2 ephemeral. If they cast Twin Disciplines to send their Sivir to a 5/6, you can then play Time Bomb and it'll actually kill your opponent's Sivir. Being able to have this 2 mana ping all at the round start makes it really annoying for the opponent, and it's actually a super key card in this kind of deck. When we're playing at a slower speed, we get access to cards like Vengeance and Ruination that just give us a very good single unit removal that this deck generally didn't have beforehand beyond Nasus plus Siphoning Strike. Ruination shouldn't be scoffed at all, because if you're casting Ruination, and not only will you end up in a favorable board state because you just have all these chump blockers and your opponent has to develop into you, if you cast Ruination and, you know, you're just gaining 5, 6, 7 slays in that one turn, you drop Nasus the next turn, and now all of a sudden your opponent has a very hard time dealing with it. Because we are in Shrima, we also get copies of Deny, which will help this deck protect their key units through big spells as well. So I also want to take a little bit of a time to just speak about where this kind of deck falls into the meta, why I think it's good, and why I was able to climb 250 LP with it since you know, the start of the week. What the meta kind of looks like right now is, I would say it's mostly revolving around the Sivir decks. Sivir decks are just, everyone knows how powerful these guys are. You guys seen them taking the Masters, taking them up to high ranks in the ladder. And then you have the elusive aggro decks that try to prey on the Sivir decks. And then beyond the Sivir decks, the ones that take a little bit longer time, you have the Zilean Lee, and then you finally have the Karma control decks. What makes Zilean Nasus good right now is that it's good into the elusive aggro decks. You have the Withering Whales, you have the Box to really shut down aggressive, you know, low to the floor kind of attacks. You're good into the Sivir decks, at least in my own personal opinion and experience. You can set up a lot of chump blockers. You have the Vile Feast Vengeance onto a Sivir if they're trying to go all in. You have the Glimpse Beyonds to actually stop their progress towards their Sivirs, and you have Nasus, which your opponent just can't deal with beyond stunning it for a turn with Concussive Palm. Cards like Zilean are also great against Sivir decks when combined with cards like Withering Whale and Vile Feast to really chip away at your opponent's board, especially on their defensive turn. Historically, we're also good into Ezdraven because they just can't deal with Nasus Atrocity in one action, and we have a little bit of a chance against Lee because now we are running Vengeances, Ruinations, more ways of killing Lee, and they have to really sparse out their denies. The only place where Zilean Nasus has a little bit harder of a time into is those super late game decks. We don't have the aggressive openings that Thresh Nasus traditionally has, and we don't really have that ultimate scale that a deck like Karma does. So if we're unable to just kind of mid-range them out of the game, some matchups turn out a little bit harder. Now, another good reason why a deck like a Nasus control deck can thrive in this current meta is because they've really hit hard, and by they, I mean Riot has hit hard on Targon as a region, and so you see a lot less Targon decks, meaning that a lot less Hush decks, meaning that no other deck has a one card good way of stopping Nasus. And that's really important for a deck like this. Finally, I want to touch up on the matchup tables. I already kind of went through, you know, it being good into a lot of things out there, but for some of the popular decks on ladder that I've been facing, once again, Lurk kind of feels like a hard matchup. And this is kind of strange because as a control deck, we're able to like ping down their board, things like that. It's not terribly unfavorable, but again, we don't have good ways of dealing with Rek'Sai. If we have to spend a Vengeance on their 3-mana Rek'Sai, they could play another Rek'Sai and we're kind of in an awkward spot. If we get off to a bad start without the control cards, again, their units trade very favorably into our units. We place pretty small, cheap units, and their scale quite large. I don't think this matchup is like super unfavorable. I haven't played it much either because there's not much Lurk on the ladder, but from experience, this matchup feels not as great as some of the other ones on ladder. Ezreal, you know, we're a lot more slower as a deck. We can outvalue them because we actually have a lot of draw cards as well, and then they can't stop Nasus Atrocity. So if we're able to stall the game out, which we should be able to because we have a lot of control cards, Black Spear pretty much kills any unit that they have. We Vengeance their Captain Farrens, we out heal them. We just rack up those slays, chip in a little bit of damage turn by turn, and then overall we just draw Nasus Atrocity and end the game. This matchup is relatively favorable, and it's kind of hard to go either way. Now, where I like this deck is its good ability to face Sivir decks. I mentioned that we have good ways of going wide, we have good ways of paying down their board, we still have access to Merciless Hunter, which is one of the best cards against any Sivir deck, and we have the Nasus late game, which Sivir decks just historically can't deal with either. So I want to put this matchup favorably in our spot. It might even be better than 55-45, but I'll just leave it as slightly favorable in our end. And then finally, our deck is a Control Shadow Owls deck, and it has the Shrima control-ish tools as well. So against most aggro decks out there, we should be relatively favorable. I've lost a couple games to Pirates here and there. Discard if they get off to a really strong start and we don't draw early game, then things can go a little bit wonky, but overall aggro decks are unfavored into our kind of deck and game. Now this deck is quite complicated to play, I would say. I went very briefly over the general idea of what this deck wants to do, but it's really hard to put what I said into how you should play the deck. And so I have 3 games I'd like to showcase for you guys. Now these were recorded before the patch, but I have been playing the same deck again through the patch, and it's been performing giving me the same success. So if you guys are interested in trying out this deck for yourself, I highly recommend that you at least watch these games, see how I play out these games, see where each card fits out, how I play around certain cards when I drop Merciless Hunter, for example. And these are all really key decisions that kind of rack up, because this is still a control deck at the end of the day, and that's where a lot of these decisions come in. So please stick around for the games, but that's kind of the end of the deck guide portion. So I thank you guys for watching. I did something different. I record these games off stream, so it's just me and the game. So if you guys enjoyed that as well, please let me know in the comments, and I can do that for the videos going forward. But without further ado, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the games. Alright, redemption time, let's go. 1-drop, 2-drop, Battlefeast Whale. Still attack on odds. Okay, now we have the 1-drop, 2-drop. If you find the time bomb, it kind of just chains from there. I dare you to play a 3-2. Haha. We are better prepared this time. Still trades. I'm not sure I would take this trade. I'm sure there's a better trade somewhere out there. Let's play it now so that we get more draws for time bombs. Take a while. Oop. Oop. No flame chopper is like really good. And then we just boop boop. Still taking 7, Jesus Christ. That's discard aggro for you guys, huh? Crowd favorite's a little bit annoying here. Just Draven. Vengeance for Jinx. Sounds like Whale plus Glimpse. We don't need a Vengeance. Oops, sorry I saw that one. I was saying we don't need a Vengeance Jinx until he levels it. Like, if we can't level Jinx, there's no reason, like, pre-commit the Vengeance. Crowd favorite, again, be kind of annoying. If he plays crowd favorite, he might just have to Vengeance it. Like, if he, like, axes into, like, a jury rig or, like, a... just plays it. Okay. What does he want to challenge? Like my Zilean? Does he have a vision? Good thing I have this whale, huh? So this is like a pretty clear axe vision, right? And this whale plus glimpse should just kind of blow him out. Yep.
Time for the money makers. You'll see me. Yes.
And this clears his pull board. It draws me 2 cards. He's left with Draven. I have the Vengeance. We're in a pretty good spot. I feel like a Merciless Hunter, that's just icing on the cake. Glimpse is a good draw. Going to next turn 3, 6, 7. I'll bank in case he like draws Jinx and levels. I don't really have a good play, I just like play 1 drop. Not really point tapping under Vengeance.
Autographs after the fight, kid.
Could still be Jinx. If he had Experimenter, he just jams it. Ah, he knows. He knows I have the Vengeance. So sad. Well, like if I had Merciless Hunter as well. Kinda sucks that I didn't have Merciless. Just kinda stuck with the Vengeance. Okay, Nasus is plenty big. And I just do the same thing. And then play Nasus next turn. Alright. Shadow Isle's control doing Shadow Isle's control. This should be a really bad matchup, if I'm correct. Especially if attacking on odds, getting Zoe on 1 is gonna really suck. We'll play for value. I don't make target decks left on ladder, which like just blow out Nasus. But this is gonna be one of them. Boy, is it a bad one. If you can like level up Zilean, maybe that's an alternate way that we can win this game.
The way is always the same. Make haste.
You wanna block? Does wanna block. Interesting. I don't think I can be sad about that. Seems like a really bizarre use of his spell. Like, what would he do if I just like play a second Zilean, huh? Like, isn't that just super awkward for him? I don't really want to let him play a second spell for no reason. Ah, we could have leveled up Zilean too. Sucks. Can't play Lee Sin this turn. As long as we don't tap under Vengeance, that is. Oh, never punished.
A pleasure to see you, Master. Go get the shiny devil.
There's also just no way of killing his Lee Sin either this turn. Oh my god. Yeah, he's not punished. At least force the spell out this turn. Unless he has 2 spells, he can't really drag. We'd have to pass here. See if he like does something dumb and drags it. Yeah, we just need to keep Black's mana up. If we get Merciless Hunter, then like we can actually kill Lee Sin, right? Unlucky. Again, we're just kind of playing this Game of chicken. I just need to find my card that does the thing. There's Merciless, beautiful. And this can kill his other eye. We should just go for this. Because he needs to play 2 spells if he wants Barrier. He just had like Notify or whatever. Denies that, that's huge. Dealing 6 to that is going to be an issue though. We just like need to find Vengeance. Or like a Vile Feet, or like a Glimpse to try to deny his kicks. Because otherwise we can't realistically deal 6. We use our Vile Feet to like waste the ping on the barrier, which also kind of sucks. We could have used like our resources a little bit more smartly, but it's kind of hard in the position we're put in. It's also sort of hard for him to kick with Lee Sin, unless he levels it. Take the chance to draw a card. Ruination. I mean, we just YOLO that next turn. The good news is, if we don't have a board, his Lee Sin becomes a lot less scary. We'll trade down to get a Slay here. Just needs to play one more spell for Lee. We would actually beat Bastion if we had a Vile Feast left over. What the heck? Really? It's kind of strange. I'll happily take that trade. I guess he knows it's dying, so he's putting it away. That makes sense. But he's pulling without... Wait a minute. This seems weirdly risky. I don't like this attack unless he levels Lee. Okay. Fair. Alright, we just Ruination then. And hope he doesn't have a Deny or Bastion. Like, if we had a Vengeance, he just, like, gets punished for no reason. Which is why I kind of am a little bit frustrated. What if we pass, and then next turn we can... Oh, it's turn 10, right? Yep. Like, if we save that Vile Feast, we actually beat Bastion. Sick. Really happy with the outcome. 10-10 Nasus already. We'll fight this. Jesus. Everything's going our way right now.
Extend your senses.
Damn, if we just have Vengeance, we just can't draw Vengeance for our life. He can't kill us this turn, he's one off. But if we wanted to kill him, we had to play something out.
Gonna find a gift for Renekton, right, Arda?
He's out of units. He could have like a stun, I guess. But if he has Hush, I mean, we have Atrocities to save us a turn, so it's not the end of the world just yet. Another Zoe. We're kind of just pushing here. He's going to trade off Zoe. You have double Atrocity to fend off lethal. We're going to pull with the Spiderling, because it's very likely he just has like a Hush or something as his last few cards. And if he doesn't have the Hush, that's like huge, right? Yep, so there's the Hush, which is big because he can't block with Zoe. And now he might not even draw a spell. Like, that's the weird spot he's in. We have 2 Atrocities to kind of get us there. Like, if his last spell is a buff spell to kill Nasus, he's risking the fact that he can't draw a spell for Lee Sin next turn. So now we just have Atrocities. Yep.
Our enemies cannot hide.
So he physically can't kill us unless this is deny. And then we have second Nasus.
Center your steel.
If he has Hush, he's not winning this turn. Nice. Big win. Big win. Big win. Okay. So this is a matchup that we should be okay into. It's not the best matchup, but it's definitely not the worst matchup either. So we're looking for a Merciless, or rather, when we have Merciless, we're going to be very stingent with it. Like, we're only going to play Merciless on their champions, pretty much.
Would you look at this place?
I don't particularly want to give him the free kill onto my Fading Icon. I don't particularly mind giving the Zilean vulnerable here either. Ooh, these are all so good.
Did I freeze time again? Oh dear.
I'll take the first No, I'll take the Time Bomb, I think. It's a tough call. We get a free attack here. Time Bomb's good because he didn't attack with that. Why is he passing here? They don't have like great turn 3s. They could play like Merciless, I guess. I'll just play Fading here. If he's passing on his turn 3, it's because he has like Merciless Hunter or something that he doesn't want to play out on nothing. Okay.
Honor is the rust on a dull blade.
So he's gonna like pull, he's gonna pull. That's gonna be really bad. We can Spirit Leech the Zilean, because he wants to pull it with the Merciless. We need like a Vile Feast to pop that shield at the very least.
It's a living.
I will trade for your Hunter. I could have also glimpsed that. Maybe I should have. Just to prevent them to level up. Do you want to kill this now? Draw a card. Vengeance.
If I've forgotten, then no.
Where'd she go? Please, Mom.
Did we have a Merciless Hunter but waste it? Oh no, I just didn't take Merciless. Which at the end of the day could have been like a misplay as well. I need to find Merciless. Vile Feast pops Spell Shield, which gives me Vile Feast plus Black Spear.
Come on, Rib. We'll get our licks in.
Sure. We'll take this damage and like do a Glimpse block here. If he wants to like give this quick attack, or rather double attack, we can consider the Vengeance.
This way. Go.
Am I playing this turn? Maybe I should just responsible block it. I can just play Nasus down. He's attacking with full mana, which seems really bizarre. He doesn't want to develop. Maybe I can bait him into trying to like kill me this turn, and then I just Vengeance it. Based off the way he's playing, really interesting. I don't know why he would keep up full mana then. Seems like a fine turn to just slam Nasus. The issue is, obviously, Nasus is pretty small relative to what his board state is. Sure. Another Time Bomb would just, like, kind of wreck him. Seems very weird how he's not developing into his attacks. Third Nasus. We'll see where this gets us. We need to get our Nasus slightly bigger. Okay.
If it's meant, I can write it.
Really not scared of like a whale or something. And unfortunate because it can't punish him for it. We're in a good spot. We just need to figure out how to play this right. Like, just another Time Bomb, or like a whale here would just like absolutely wreck him.
There is no undoing what has been done.
I want to say this is a pop Spell Shield, but it's just too good here. This unfortunately taps us under this Siphoning Strike, but if he's keeping up all this mana for like the rest of the game, we're in a pretty okay spot. Sure. There's no need to rush here. He's not developing his attacks. I'm not quite sure what he's doing.
Without a sound.
I think it's worth trying to kill this. We have a deny. If he denies, we can deny back. This makes his attacks really awkward if I have like an 11-11. I have like a glimpse or whatever he tries to pull with his Sivir. And we can kind of tell based like what his hand's trying to look like based off of like his attack. We can do it again. It's not bad. It taps us under glimpse. But like we can tell based off his attack too how much he's attacking with, etc. If he attacks with Zed, he levels my Nasus, which again you can't really be doing. So he has some really awkward attacks here.
That's right. Run.
These make sense. But he is attacking with Zed. Interesting. And then we'll just block all the way down. Yeah, he realizes he can't really attack with Zed.
I have the patience to wonder for centuries, but come on.
And then we just glimpse, and then we're in a really good spot. Yep. Find me a time bomb, will ya? Or like a whale or something really good. There's a lot of good stuff you can get now. Whales, time bombs, yeah. Ooh, even merciless. I'm gonna be greedy here. And just take time bomb. Like if I can chain 2 time bombs together, that's gonna be really powerful. This Nasus will always be a threat to him. And we just draw into merciless regardless. Okay.
Love it when they run.
I want to split his attention here. I want him to be forced to protect his Sivir while also trying to kill my Nasus. So I can pass here as well. I don't have to do anything. This kills this. I can again just be patient. I'm in no rush to do anything. It's gonna be very hard for him to kill me. Now that he can't drag anything. I'll just take this slow. I get a free slay here. His board's not good enough to attack. Regardless of if he had anything to attack with, he can't really do it. Also just taking this a little bit too patiently, I feel. I think it's fine. I don't think there's like too much of a rush. Now they're merciless. He's very afraid to like develop, so he could easily just have like 2nd and 3rd Sivir. Or just a lot of combo pieces and protection spells, which I think is the second most likely thing to happen.
Stay hidden.
I see. Well, that's no longer very acceptable. And this ends a level up, and now we're just very close to the atrocity lethal. And again, he really has no attack with anything. Yeah. You can really tell what his hand was looking like. Oh, he has a ghost.
Business as usual.
Damn, he was close. It's actually really scary. But as you saw there, his hand was just all like combo pieces, right?